Chelsea have reignited their interest in the West Ham and England midfielder Declan Rice. An asking price of £90 million has been placed upon his head. Do Chelsea Football Club, unlike Man United, have the money to get a deal of that magnitude done for a CDM, for a holding defensive midfield player? And do you want your club to invest that much money in that area of the pitch? Maybe instead of a striker, another attacker, cover at the back. Chelsea fans, we want to hear from you. In other news, we've spoken again today to Sasha, one of the leading Belgian football experts. And the news yesterday has been reconfirmed again that Chelsea are now starting to prioritize negotiations to bring Lukaku back to Chelsea Football Club as their main number 9 next season. Hit that like button. Hit the share button right now, people. Here we go. Good afternoon, one and all. Had a nice day off today, like daytime off. Time with the kids, time with the family. Met up with some friends for the first time in 12 months. So yeah, really, really nice day. But I'm back with you now. Kids are asleep. They're exhausted. Now it's time for business. And Matt Law in the Telegraph today has said that Chelsea have reignited their long-standing interest in West Ham midfielder Declan Rice. They go on to say here, and could use out-of-favour striker Tammy Abraham as a make-weight in the proposal. Since the appointment of Thomas Tuchel, the Londoners' pursuit of Rice went fairly quiet, and the club did appear a number of months ago to distance itself. And we remember they kind of said it was a Lampard signing and not a Chelsea signing. This appears to be now contradicted by the claim by Matt Laws that Chelsea are now looking at him. They see him as a long-term successor to Kante in the middle and a player that could really rejuvenate and grow the midfield. It's already very, very good, but why not look to move forward better? The major stumbling block in this deal, which is why they're trying to use Tammy Abraham, who is a target and is fancied by West Ham and by David Moyes as a make-weight, because West Ham United want £90 million or an offer to the equivalence of £90 million for Declan Rice. I had an exchange a little bit earlier on today with Monster online, and I agree with him. £90 million is extortionately high for a CDM. For a CDM. I mean, Paul Pogba went for similar money, but Paul Pogba's commerciality as a football player is far superior to Declan Rice, and he's more a forward-thinking and attacking, creative player. They're always worth more money. £90 million for a CDM. Many are going to think that's extortionate. But Chelsea fans, do you want your club? Do you want your club to go out there and say that and get that done? That's first and foremost. That's what I want to hear from you. The second point that's worth touching on today. Yesterday, Simon Phillips, and I want to say that his name is Daniel. I want to make sure I get his name right again. From Macca Sports. Daniel McCarthy stated that Chelsea will be prioritizing the signing of Lukaku. He isn't the number 1 striker choice. They have, of course, inquired about Harry Kane and Haaland and Lewandowski, but they have made almost no inroads into conversations with representatives or the said clubs, the potential vendors in these deals. It now appears Chelsea are going to start to pursue the Lukaku case a lot closer. They're going to they understand why they missed out on him last time. A lot of that was due to not giving Lukaku the attention and respect and sort of the dedication to the deal that he would expect. So as it stands right now, Chelsea are 100% on the lookout, as we know, for a number 9 striker. Lukaku is 3rd or 4th in terms of choice for the club, but a priority signing at this moment in time, because it does appear the other strikers out there that Chelsea are trying to sign are unavailable. Now, what will be really interesting over the next couple of weeks is if a situation changes. If Dortmund decide, actually, we want to cash in on Haaland, that may not happen now, as they have made Champions League football today. Maybe nobody else comes in anywhere near Chelsea's offer, which is cash plus the likes of Tammy, Kepa and Hudson-Odoi to make the bid up to a valuation of 150 million. If nobody else comes close to doing that, and Daniel Levy does decide that he wants to sell Harry Kane out of respect or whatever reason it may be, Chelsea may then change their minds and move away from Lukaku. But as it stands right now, one of the leading Belgian football experts, very well connected in Sacha Tavolieri, has come out and confirmed that is a deal that Chelsea are working very, very hard on doing. They're prioritizing the work on that deal as it stands right now. And Lukaku could be returning to Stamford Bridge next season for a sum around the 80 million euro mark. A few people here that saying Simon Phillips has said this. Well, what Sasha also told me is that the information that Dan McCarthy and Simon Phillips put out yesterday was his information. So when I asked him whether it was true, we had a conversation today. He says, I know it's true because I gave that information to them. I trust Sasha implicitly based on some private conversations that we had and information that he gave me as well. Thunder and Joy here says Rice isn't going anywhere. Who knows? Who knows whether or not he is or isn't going to go anywhere? The money, though, is what would be the stopper. A lot of people saying, well, what about Man United? Man United are interested in Declan Rice. They are. There's no doubt about it that Manchester United are interested in trying to sign Declan Rice. This is a cast iron fact. The problem is Man United do not have the money. We don't have the money to buy him at 60 or 70 million, let alone 90. We told you 3 weeks ago here on the terrace, ever before some of the credible transfer journalists had started talking about United need to sell before they buy, barring Jadon Sancho. We told you there isn't the money there. The club needs to sell a goalkeeper, Phil Jones, Matic, maybe a star or two, Lingard as well. There are going to have to be major outgoings at Man United to get this deal done, and potentially even at Chelsea. Chelsea, in my opinion, are not going to drop £90 million cash, whether up front or over a 5-year period, on a CDM. They will look to use a player plus cash deal or try and drive that price for Declan Rice down. Every club has a budget to a certain degree, and no club, as far as I'm concerned, from a financial standpoint, is going to budget for a £90 million fee for a central defensive midfielder. Simply isn't going to happen in that way. As good as Declan Rice is, there's no doubt. CFC here says, Terry, I've heard that, I don't know how to pronounce that name. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. He won League One's Young Player of the Year recently. I'm not going to try and say the name out loud. I'm not too sure who it is. I'll have a little look at that rumor a little bit later, do some research and maybe talk about it tomorrow. As I say, I never talk about things on the terrace that I don't understand or have read about or been told about, because that's just stupid. People try to, don't they? To try to pretend like they know everything about football. And it's always embarrassing. A few of you are tweeting about that as well. Quite a few of you are tweeting about that same player. You've all just... some of you got all the same accounts, because literally the same wording the whole way through. But we will see. Let's do some more of these comments coming through. Terry, say it like Shuameni. Is that how it's pronounced? Okay, fair enough. I appreciate that. Thank you for the heads up on that one. And Shuameni. Cool. Thank you. I'll do some research on that deal. It's not one that I've come across or seen. But of course, there's lots of information out there. We're going to open up the lines for you to come on and have your say. I know there's big football matches going on at this moment in time as well. Make sure you sign up to the Football Terrace Discord server as well. It's the premier chat room for football content on the planet. You're all amazing. The Terrace family over there is great. So make sure you tune into that. Make sure you're hitting that like button for me, though, on this stream. It's very, very important to us here at the Terrace that you get that done. Terry, is Haaland leaving Dortmund this summer? As it stands right now, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. They did the world tour, or the European tour. They pushed for it. They've spoke to every single club that could potentially afford him in Europe, but there's no movement from that point. And the fact there's no movement from that point it is worrying. It would take a gargantuan offer. And I get the sense a lot of the clubs are holding back. And they're holding back because of the overall package for Haaland is somewhere in the region of You got to think they're trying to get him a salary of anything between £500,000 to £1 million per week in salary on a 5-year deal. That's costing you 250 to 300 million pounds plus incentives, plus bonuses, plus image rights, plus agent fees. If you then spend 150 million pound on the fee, you're talking about a 500 to 600 million pound package. Clubs are exceedingly reluctant to part with that amount of money, where in the summer of 2022, you can pick the player up for around about 72 million pounds. I think clubs are going to try and hold off until then, because right now they're just asking for far too much money. Conte isn't letting Lukaku go, especially not to Chelsea. But that's an interesting point, Michael. Listen to what Sasha said on our show Monday. If Conte stays, it's very unlikely that Lukaku is going to look to leave. However, Inter Milan are still in financial ruin. They've always looked at Lukaku as the main asset that could raise them the cash they need. They owe Man United £40 million and they don't have the money to spend. So they have to sell players. However, what increases the opportunity of getting Lukaku is the fact that Conte may leave Inter Milan. And if he leaves Inter Milan, Belgian football expert Sasha has told us exclusively on the Football Terrace that it could lead to Lukaku leaving even more so. At the same time, Chelsea are a very well-run football club. They are talking to a number of players at the same time. And the fact they're talking to 2 or 3 strikers or pursuing multiple avenues, it gives them, excuse me, they've got that fallback option. There's no doubt about it. But I do hear you, Michael, and thank you for that super chat. If you want to get your questions into us today, get your super chat questions in with a chance and an opportunity to going into the prize draw at the end of May to win a football shirt of your choice. We're also going to give away a Rode podcast mic and a brand new set of gaming headphones. 2 lucky winners will be drawn out of the hat. Every normal show, we ask you to super chat a question. We pick the best questions. The user of the best question goes into the hat. And after every match review show, you guess my man of the match with a chance to also go into that prize draw. We're going to go to some of your calls very, very soon. As a comment here, it says, Terry, can you imagine this happening? Mbappe to Liverpool, Kane to City, Sancho United, and Lukaku to Chelsea. I can see that happening to a degree. There is a report this afternoon that Kylian Mbappe has agreed to join Real Madrid. I'm still not convinced by that one, if I'm being completely and utterly honest with you. I'm still not fully convinced that Mbappe is going to go Real Madrid. It depends on the finances, if they can sort themselves out in that way. First caller of the day we're going to get on here is Raphael. Raphael is a Chelsea fan. Welcome to the terrace. What do you want to say, buddy? Oh, he disappeared. Just as I put him on, he disappeared. Oh, look at that. Last time I checked, Atletico were 1-0 down. They are now 2-1 up. 2 goals in the second half. And that's pretty much that done now. That's pretty much it. They're going to be champions of La Liga, which I think we've all seen for a while now. Real Madrid are actually losing their final game of the season as well, which is terrible for them. To Villarreal that Man United play in a few games. And do you know what I love about seeing this? I've seen tweets from maybe about 20 people saying Villarreal are no mugs. They're well organised. They're a very good team. Then I don't, if that's what you believe, and these are all Ollie outers, then I don't want to hear you moan and say it was an easy final to win if Ollie pulls it off. They can't be a really well-drilled, hard, difficult team when we're in the build-up and be minnows and piss easy to beat if we win. That makes you a bellend. Don't be a bellend. Congratulate, yes, Kendall, who of course supports Atletico, are going to win. And just mad as well. I said to a few people, remember when people were trying to convince us, pragmatic football is never going to win trophies again. It's finished. The era's over. Oh, shut up in your face. I used to love that song. And do you know why I say that? It's never about the style of football. It's the manager. How he galvanizes people together. Can he get the collective to work for him? And Jose Mourinho has lost his ability to do that, in my opinion. Diego Simeone has not. That's why his team are champions again. And you'll see it happen time and time again. Pragmatic football will work. Terry, thoughts on Sancho to Chelsea? Spoke about this a number of times. Sancho to Manchester United is as close to being done as it has ever been before, ever. Personal terms agreed. Agent fees agreed. A transfer fee negotiated where Man United know what they need to pay. They know outright what they have to pay. And Dortmund and Man United think they're at a point where a bid will be submitted very, very soon. It was always going to have to wait until the end of both clubs' respective seasons. That's always been what's been put out there in the ether. Chelsea Football Club have a lot of work to do before they could land Jadon Sancho. So their priority is the number 9 striker. That's what they've got the cash they're ready for to spend on. To buy any other big players, the books have to be balanced like any other football club. Sales of players have to happen. Dortmund want the deal done very, very quickly. They want it done ideally before the Euros. If Man United get the bid in now, he isn't going to Chelsea. United can get it signed up, secured, done, signed, sealed, delivered, out of the way. If Man United let this protrude and it goes beyond the Euros and Chelsea get rid of and they raise the funds and they clear the space in the squad, I would then start to panic massively as a Manchester United fan. Because going head to head for Chelsea for players on an even keel it's like me getting in the ring with Anthony Joshua. Even my best punch may not cut it. And I very much doubt it would against a man like AJ. So yeah, that's my view as it stands right now in relation to it. A lot of people are asking me about the £80 million bid. Where were you yesterday? We literally did a video on this yesterday. You've got to go back and watch Football Terrace content from every day. Watch all the videos, people. Watch all the videos. Just interesting for us. On average, our viewers watch one video a day on the terrace. So we're very, very lucky. So we get good views on every video. Very happy with it. But it's almost unique viewers on every single video, which is great. What I need for you all to do, because every video covers different topics, watch all 3. I love it. I get asked so many questions by so many people. I'm like, I literally spoke about that in my last stream. Go check it out. We timestamp a lot of what we're doing now. That's going to come more frequent so you can find the right moments in videos to go through things. Plus, our website is being designed and built and will be launched very, very soon. It will be within the Give Me Sports sphere as well. So massive thank you to that. Let's do a few more comments in here. We had a super chat that came in. This says, it's true that Lampard was the front man to sign Rice. The club also want him, but didn't want to pay the asking price. Tammy included into the deal could make the difference, though. Perfect fit for me. Yeah, I agree. I honestly feel that Tammy Abraham would kill it at a club like West Ham. I think Tammy Abraham, like Jesse Lingard, with a bit more time and a bit more space, because teams are not going to sit back and play such a low block against you. That extra time and space, you will see Tammy's levels rise. You will see Tammy's levels rise up. You truly, truly will. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. I totally agree. Thank you for that super chat. It means a great deal. Get more super chat questions in for us, people. Terry over Fabrizio fraud. I can't. How are you saying that? I know it's Romano. Is it Fraudmano? Maybe you should just leave the D out. It might flow off the tongue better. Listen, Fabrizio knows a lot of people. There's no doubt about it that Fabrizio Romano knows a lot of people. Has a lot, especially in the Italian market. But you shouldn't just get your information from. I'd love to sit and talk to him about transfers. I think he's great. But there's people out there, Peter O'Rourke, Dean Jones. These individuals are sublime. Their information comes out. What you often have to do with those guys is go back and read and listen to their previous podcasts and articles. They talk about things before anybody else. It was Dean Jones that told us, and he told us exclusively at the Terrace, because I spoke to him, that Man United won't be going for Declan Rice unless they raise more money because they haven't got the cash. It's only now that some of the superstars are saying it. Everyone's going, oh, we've got to buy before we sell. Yeah, of course we do. We've known this for a long, long time. We've known this for a long, long time. We really, really have. And that's not because any of the guys that said it yesterday or the day before are wrong. Just there are other great people out there, and you should go and seek and listen to what it is that they've got to say on these matters. I really think you need to. I really think you need to. Let's do a few more comments here. He's agreed terms with Chelsea. Okay. Let's just go and have a little look at this. Where's that information come from? Is that just been announced? I don't know how to pronounce that name right when I'm reading it. Oh, okay. He's from Monaco. Oh, he's the guy that they refer to as the monster. Yeah, I've seen that. I've actually seen that name. I saw an article on it the other day and I just didn't read it. And I didn't read it because about time, innit? It's about time, I suppose. Chelsea target has won this here. Yeah, there's no confirmation that terms have been agreed, is there? I'm just trying to look for that. But yeah, definitely a player that they're looking at. I love it. Do you know what's crazy, right? I just see a video from someone who's called that deal a done deal. And that person used to call me a clickbait. I fucking love it. Fucking love it, mate. Love it, mate. I love seeing that sort of stuff. But there we go. Okay, I'll do a bit of research into that one and see what's being said. Where did you see that terms were agreed? Just so I can go and read that information and that article, my guy. That isn't disbelieving you. It's a case of I'd like to read about it. I'd like to know about it and all that jazz. There's a comment here that says Chelsea are targeting Kane and Lukaku. They're targeting Rafael Varane. And I'm gonna get Google to tell me how to pronounce this name, right? Let's just do this now live on the air because do you know what I love about you guys, right? Legitimately love you all. You all tell me, like, I can get 4 people to tell me 3 different ways how to pronounce something. Let's read this out. Let's just read this out here.
Chouameni.
Okay, that's actually really easy to say out loud. But yeah, cool. I'll look for some information on that, and maybe we'll do a video in a bit more depth about that later on down the line. Chouameni. That's a really easy way of saying it. I don't personally know too much about him, but I'll do my research before talking. We can sell Henderson for 40 mil, Lingard for 25, Jones for 10, Matic 8, Mata 5, Pereira 15. Potentially, but it's getting all those deals done, and that's the difficult thing. That's the difficult thing. Man United actually getting those deals done, finished, over the line, and completed. They're United are not renowned for doing it. Oh, so it says go on to Eunice's channel. Yeah, okay, cool. I'll go check that out and have a little look later and do my research. Love Eunice, great guy. Never done a show with him, but I like his stuff. I'll go and have a look at that. Yes, let's have a little look at this. I love you guys. You guys make me laugh. I'm just looking at all these stories here. Okay. We'll see. Anyway, I'll go look in that later. It's hard to do research while I'm live on the air. It's hard to do. Barcelona have just gone 1-0 up. Barca are 1 up. Look at that. Could Barca end up going in front of Real Madrid today in terms of league standings? No, they can't. They're too far away. They're on 76. But there we go. Look at that. Madrid champions. Dortmund made it. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. The Premier League's a little bit interesting, but tomorrow I'm very excited about the final day of the season. Lille, will they get the win? Will they get the win they need to stop Paris Saint-Germain being champions? And how many years on the bounce have Paris Saint-Germain won Ligue 1? I don't know, but it must be at least 5-6 years on the bounce they've done it. Legit. Has to be, right? Let's have a little look here. Winners. Where's it at? Here we go. Right. So they won it 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's only 3 years on the bounce. They didn't win it in 2017. Who won it in 2017? But that would have been Monaco. Monaco did. But yeah, it's mad. If you look, since the money came in, they won it in 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2018, 2019, 2020. So they've pretty much won it non-stop for a decade. So Lille winning it is amazing. Who else has got? Yeah, Monaco won it in 2017. Who won it? And it was probably Lyon. I remember Lyon won it quite a lot through the noughties. Yeah, they did. Lille. Lille did win it though, didn't they? I swear they won it when. Yeah, they won it in 2011. So who won it in 20? Who won it in 2012? I don't know this because I don't watch their game. Oh, that was Montpellier. Yeah, Montpellier won it. Jeez, they're on their way. I didn't realize who's the most times that won it the most. Saint-Etienne, the most team to have won it the most, but haven't won it since 1981. There we go. We learn something new every day. We really do. Let's do some more of your comments coming through. You can call in, by the way, if you want to have your say about these deals, these updates, and everything else that's going on. Please feel free to give us a bell. Let's do a few more comments here. I love the way you all have a pop at each other. It does make me laugh. I'm not going to read out any of your comments, really, because it's you guys just chatting to each other. There's no points about the stories you're talking about. There we go. We're going to go to Ray. Ray's called in now. Michael's backstage as well. Ray's with us here. What are you saying, mate?
Right. I don't fully understand the Chelsea situation. Maybe you can clear it up for me. Obviously, I'm a Man U fan. I've been watching Man U. Why is Chelsea going for Lukaku or Kane when they've got Abraham on the bench not getting games?
Well, Abraham's on the bench not getting games because he isn't good enough. And in terms of, I don't think Tammy is good enough at the highest level when he's playing up against, when 80% of the games he plays, he's up against a team that's in a low block. I don't think he's got a good enough touch. I don't think he's got good enough hold-up play. I don't think he's got a good enough finish. He's very good. He's a Premier League football player, but there are levels and differences. And Chelsea want to have one of the elite strikers in world football leading their line. And he's just not one of the world's, and I don't think he ever will be on that elite level like a Lukaku, a Kane, Lewandowski, Haaland as an example. It's about for me, it's just about upgrading what you've got. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can drive a really nice car. I might go out and buy a 50 grand BMW. That's a nice car. But it isn't as good as a 150 grand BMW. Like 150 grand BMW is gonna be quicker, faster, safer, have more gadgets. That's all they're doing is upgrading what they've already got.
I don't think Lukaku would come back. I honestly don't think he's set. He seems to be happy at Inter. Why would he come back to the Premier League? I don't get that. Harry Kane is a possibility.
You go on.
Harry Kane can go to Chelsea, but Timo Werner, has only had one season. If he gets his confidence up and start taking them chances he's missed, he'll be a top striker.
He may be, but it's whether or not people think. It's whether or not people think that
you need man management. Individual players nowadays in this world need man management. Look at great example, Ronaldo. He needed a talking to. I'm not saying he was low on confidence, but he was being too cocky in his early days. And then Fergie had to talk with him. He became one of the best. I'm not saying Werner would be one of the best, but he just needs man managed.
Listen. I think Werner's very good. I think what you're missing here is Chelsea just won. It's not about those two are not good football players. Chelsea just want something that's even better, and they just want something of an even better level. They're good to very good players. What Chelsea want is top class to world class to elite level players in that number 9 position. You know, Man United have got some. We've got some very good inside. We've got some very good goal scoring inside forwards, but we don't have a world class creative inside forward. So Neto's good and Rafinha's good. All these guys are good, but Jadon Sancho is a level above. He's an echelon or two higher up the pecking order, so he's more expensive. He will create more chances, score more goals than these individuals over a period of time. And you have to, generally speaking, you have to pay for that premium. That's why I think they're doing it, Ray. But listen, great points raised, mate. Listen, we're going to jump on some more calls. Top man. Thank you very, very much indeed. Do me a favor, everyone who's tuning in with us right now, hit that like button, hit that share button for the Football Terrace right about now, my lovely, lovely people. Next up, we're going to get Roland on the show. Roland David's here with us. Who do you support, buddy?
Hi, Terry. I'm from Malaysia.
Hello, buddy. Who do you support?
I'm supporting Chelsea.
Lovely. What you here to say, my guy?
No, I've been following your show for past 1 or 2 years. Even when you were doing your show while walking in the street, I still remember those days. Okay, so I just would like to ask your opinion on Lukaku, and also what's your prediction on upcoming final Champions League game? What's your thought on that?
So on Lukaku, I think someone said in the comments like his first touch isn't very good when I mentioned things. Lukaku's first touch is offset against his goal scoring ability. So I would take a Tammy, I would swap Lukaku for Tammy Abraham every day of the week, because the things that Lukaku is better than Tammy at far outweigh the things that Tammy's better than Lukaku at in terms of the overall performance and progression of your team, in my view. In terms of the Champions League final, my head is telling me more and more that Chelsea are the favourites for it.
Oh, can I add something? I've been following many Chelsea, what they call YouTube channels. They are saying they will go for Haaland, but for me, it's like Lukaku still have unfinished business in with Chelsea, and I think, according to all the rumors that I'm reading through, I think the best opinion for Chelsea to get them is Lukaku, because it's cheap, and comparing to Haaland, and also
he is. And you know what's interesting? There's a, and I want to sort of say this in the right way, that there is still a risk with Lukaku. Lukaku is not the first choice. Lewandowski was approached before him. Kane, Haaland. They're looking at those levels. There is still there is still one area of trepidation that I would have with Lukaku is, could Lukaku's build-up play damage Chelsea, or his lack of build-up play? Could it damage Chelsea? I think that's a fair point in question. But I think his build-up play is every bit as good as Tammy's. It's every bit as good as Timo Werner's, and they're still creating the chances, Chelsea. They're just not creating. I was reading about Mason Mount. Mason Mount's expected assists to how many assists he's actually got is like two-thirds lower than it should be based on expected assists and the chances he's created. That's because his strikers are not finishing their dinner. So look, I think Lukaku is an upgrade on what they've got.
Can I just add something?
Will it be the striker that rejuvenates Chelsea and makes you Premier League champions? I'm not as convinced by that as I would be if you sign Harry Kane or Haaland.
But if Chelsea, just say next season, Tuchel will change the formation to 4-4-2, like 4-4-2 or 4-3-3 or 4-2-2-2. It would be very interesting if Lukaku is back to Chelsea. I think he really can't perform if he's playing there alone as a lone striker. What's your opinion on that?
It might work. I don't know. I don't know. In the sense, has Tuchel ever played 4-4-2?
I think he played there 2-3 times with PSG.
Yeah, 2-3 times is, for me, changing a system for a certain approach. But in terms of like, is that one of these prescribed formations that is used on a regular basis? I don't know. I'd have to research that. I'm not an encyclopedia. But yeah, look, Lukaku would be a good sign-in. There are still question marks on it, though. I think unlike there would be if they signed Haaland, if they signed Harry Kane as an example. Listen, Roland, thank you very much for your call, mate. Really appreciate that. Top man. We're going to get Sol on very, very soon indeed. I want you to come on and have your say. I sort of feel like it's 4-2-3-1s, 4-3-3s. Of course, this kind of 3-4-3 formation that he's using now. I don't kind of know whether I've seen. I just don't kind of know whether or not I've seen a 4-4-2 from him. 2-1 now to Real Madrid as we go into the final moments of the game. But Atletico Madrid are winning. Atletico Madrid are also winning. So it will be elementary, dear Watson. Sorry? You going to bed? Soon. Can I have a good night kiss? She just aired me off. Shut the door. That's nice. That's nice. Thank you very, very much. But yeah, but Atletico Madrid are winning, so we'll see what happens. Nick here says, you think United will sign Sancho? Do you reckon the bid will come ASAP? I can't deal with him going elsewhere. Nick, it's there. It's ready. It's ready to be done. I'm like you, though, brother. I'm worried about that bid not coming in. And it's full time in the Atletico Madrid game. They win. They are champions. Kieran Trippier is a champion. Suarez left Barca, joined Atletico Madrid because he was finished and has become a champion. Carrasco is a champion. Felix is a champion. Herrera is a champion. Koke is a champion. Jimenez, Oblak, champions. And they said pragmatic football is never going to win again. It's never going to win again. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Man like Pav, I'm going to share the StreamYard link now. If you want to phone up right now, if you want to have your say, please get that done now. We're live here at the Football Terrace. I want to take your calls. Remember, you can sign up and become an official member of the Terrace as well. We are going to be launching on Monday brand new tiers, brand new incentives, brand new opportunities for you to get involved with the Terrace, including coming on set for our brand new Football Terrace away days that starts next season. Legendary members, the new legendary category that comes out on Monday, you will get free and early access to these events. Of course, if our number of members grows to ridiculous levels, we'll have to limit it and we'll kind of do operations. The longer you remember, so if you've been a legendary member for 2 years, then you'll get the priority of someone who's been there for 1 month. It's about rewarding loyalty at the Terrace. And I know so many of you are loyal to us. I know that massively. Just as a recap for anybody who's just tuned in, first bit of news, Chelsea have reignited their pursuit of Declan Rice. They've been quoted £90 million as the transfer fee from West Ham United, but they're going to look to use a deal including Tammy Abraham to get this deal done. There is an outside chance that they're not going to sign him, a big chance they won't sign him because of the price. Big reports today that they're also looking at the Monaco midfielder Tchouaméni as an option to come in as well. Aside from that, he's not Portuguese. He's a Belgian football expert, Sasha Tavo Aliri. Tavo Aliri? Why was it Tavo Aliri? Why was his name wrong? I literally spoke to him an hour ago and now my brain won't work. Tavo Aliri has confirmed that Chelsea are now working the Lukaku deal as their priority in relation to signing that number 9 that they are after because of a lack of movement in the other targets, the Lewandowskis, the Kanes, and of course the Haaland as well. Let's do some of your super. There's another super chat question that's come in here, or super chat that's come in here that says, do you think Messi will leave Barca? No. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I never feel like he's going to leave Barca. It never feels like he's going to leave. So no, I don't think that one will happen really. Out of context, but I feel sorry for Partey. He must be crying right now. Party hard, bruv. Imagine that. You leave the champions-elect and now the new champions of Spain, champions of La Liga, for Arsenal. For Arsenal. Party hard. Jeez Louise. Jesus. Can you imagine? I'm going to get man like Pav on now. Get your super chats in, my lovely, my wonderful Football Terrace community. Get them into us now. Get them into us now. Call into the show. Man like Pav's here. What you saying, brother?
Oh, mate, that just made me laugh then. Man left the league title winning team to fight for a Conference League place. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I want to touch up on Declan Rice real quick. Like, are West Ham on crack? Like, where are they getting this £90 million valuation from? I mean, he's a good player, but it's West Ham. What's this, like a £50 million English tax on a player who's only really at maybe 1.5 seasons where he's been good? It's like you can get Sancho for 90 million. You mentioned before Pogba came to us around 80 million, but I don't understand the valuation for Declan Rice. Like, I'm sure he's not on a massive contract either. I don't know how many years he has left, but £90 million for Declan Rice, I think, is a joke. I believe he shouldn't be more than maybe 50 to 55 million. If West Ham are adamant on getting that sort of money, I think clubs need to look elsewhere. I believe there's other DMs around Europe and in the Premier League you could probably get for way less money for that. I would like Declan Rice, but for that much money, even for Chelsea, I think Chelsea fans will look at that and be like, that's a bit of a joke. For Chelsea, the priority is a striker. And someone said earlier on your call, why would Lukaku come back? Why wouldn't he? The Premier League is the biggest league out of Europe. Like, fair enough, they've won the title in Italy, but the Premier League is the Premier League, and he has unfinished business.
Well, as Sasha came on and said, that's his big motivator for wanting to come back to Chelsea. Unfinished business. It's like the prodigal son returning. He feels that he feels two things. One, that he didn't deliver at the best of his ability when he was at a big club in the Prem, and he didn't deliver at his first love. Chelsea were his first love. As a kid, he wanted to play for Chelsea, and it didn't work. He would love to come back. There's no doubt about that. On what you've said, as well about the Declan Rice thing, I understand what West Ham are doing. They are setting an extortionately high price, hoping that nobody else goes. Where that could become sticky for them is if Rice himself starts to push for a move, and a transfer request knocks 20-25 million pound off of that asking price as it stands. I don't think Declan Rice will be a quick deal. And that's why, Chelsea are smart. They're looking at this Tchouaméni deal that I'm going to do some research on after this stream. But they're looking at that deal because, one, that deal could force Declan Rice. If Declan Rice is dead set on going Chelsea, if Chelsea sign Tchouaméni, then he knows that dream is over. So it could tempt him to say, do you know what, West Ham, thanks, but I really want to leave now. I'm going to put in a transfer request. I'm going to get my agent to push for this move. But 90 million, I would be shocked if they got more than 60 million for him in the end. But of course, I get why they've set such a high price, Pav. I really, really do. Mate, listen, I appreciate all your support. Thanks for calling into the show and having your... I have a little treat here. I'm not going to play the music because we're probably not allowed. Thank you. Do you know what, Tony? I will go and check that Twitter account out when I'm done here. So thank you very, very much for super chatting and communicating with us today. I really mean it. But I need to show you this. I don't think we can play the music because we'll probably get a copyright strike. But I've got to play this now. Very, very important as it stands right now. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. There it is. The song. Party Hard. There it is. Do you actually think out tomorrow? Party TT. Party TTTT. Party TTTT. How do you sort of think? Do you think that they look back at this now and they're like, why did we do? Listen, by the way, the music video was fire. It was great. Let's not get twisted. It was great. But this is football and this is banter. And it's like, it didn't really work out how you thought. Do you know what I mean? TTTTTT. I love this game. I love this game so much. Honestly, I love this game with all my heart. With all my heart. with all my hearts. I really, really do. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Do me a favor and make sure you're smashing that like button and the share button, people. Share this on your social media streams. Make sure you've subscribed. Make sure the bell notifications are turned on so you never miss another live Football Terrace stream. Igal said he's better than Kante. Did Igal say he was better than... Did Igal say that he was better than Kimmich? And by the way, he could be in the future. Who knows how good Partey's going to become? But it's not more like he left the team that have just won the Liga to come like ninth, bruv. Conference. T. Ah, it's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty. It really, really is. Let's see a few more comments here. Empty banter. We love Partey. Oh, listen, of course, Arsenal fans love Partey. But I'm asking how Partey feels right now. Do you know what it'd be like? Imagine this. You're with your girl for 10 years. You're so in love. It's amazing. And then you're at work. And a beautiful young lady starts who you find funnier, more attractive. You get on better. You click. And it's like, I'm going to break up my relationship. And I'm going to get with the new lady from accounts. And we're going to be so happy. And you break up. You move out. You get with your new lady. And it's, I love this. I love this. But 6 months pass. And you and the new lady from accounts are not getting on very well. You and the new lady from accounts are sad and upset. You and the new lady from accounts don't like each other very much anymore. You go on Facebook and you check on your ex. And not only is she with someone new, and this guy's taller than you, he's got a better hairline than you, earns more money than you, he's more handsome and suave than you. Not only that, but she won the lottery. She won the lottery with the same numbers that you and her played week in, week out together for 10 years. And you won nothing. So she's a millionaire with a better looking, more successful, funnier, more handsome man. And you're with the girl from accounts who you can't stand. Turns out she's got quite bad morning breath. And you don't like her as much as you thought. It's not an Arsenal. This is not an Arsenal thing here. This is a, how does Partey feel? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Oh, can you imagine? Terry telling us about his life story. Not really about me, or is it? Or is it? Do me a favor, keep hitting that like button, my lovely, lovely viewers here. I love him. Edward here says, I could see Werner benefiting playing with Lukaku at RB Leipzig. He paid with Paulsen and worked wonders for him. This is also very, very true. Back to Ray's call earlier, you could very much find that Timo Werner improves as a result of this deal going through. I think you're absolutely spot on to think that and say that. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely spot on there. Listen, Igal isn't going to be crying because Igal isn't Partey. Arsenal fans don't feel any sympathy, or they didn't switch teams. They didn't leave something that became a winner to join something that went backwards. Like, the idea was that Atletico were meant to fall away without Partey and Arsenal were meant to elevate. Didn't happen. It's like, right, when David Moyes joined Man United, Everton had their second best season in the Premier League ever, and Man United had their worst ever. It was just, it went in the opposite direction of what was meant to to happen there. So listen, it's not a knock at Arsenal here at all. That's not the point of this. If you're seeing this as Arsenal banter, you're off the mark, you know. There we go. Worst career decision I've seen since Sanchez joining United. I think that's a fair. Yeah, I wonder. I actually also wonder how Fred. Imagine how Fred and Alexis feel. They both were on course to joining City, and then Man United offered them more money, and they chose us. They have to regret that decision. They have to. If they'd have gone to City, they'd have won 3 or 4 Premier League titles each. Oh my God. Let's do some more comments here. Well, according to Arteta, we're going to win. Well, yes, by the May 2023, Arsenal will be in the Champions League final. According to Arteta, this is a true claim. This is true news. It's what he said was going to happen. But he did say it to Willian, and Willian is leaving now, so maybe it's null and void. I don't know. I love it. I love it. Yes, and Kieran Trippier went the other direction. I remember a lot of Spurs fans phoning in saying, Trippier's gone, he made a wrong choice. Ah! Trippier winning this league? I hope Kieran Trippier is on that phone. Like this. Yes, Harry, how you doing? Straight on the phone to Harry Kane. This is how it feels. On that phone. Honestly, I bet Daniel Levy is wincing right now. Wincing, bruv. Is Torreira part of Atletico Madrid's team? I wasn't even completely aware of that. Oh, the plot thickens. Sorry for yawning. I'm very sorry for yawning. He is. Torreira. Wow. Wow. But there we go. That's hindsight for you, eh? Hindsight is a lucrative commodity, as we always say here on TFT. Let's see some more of your comments here. I want to see what's being said. He doesn't play, but there we go. Thank you very much for the compliment, sir. Dinesh says, imagine if Arsenal or Tottenham qualify for the Conference League and don't win the trophy. It would be peak for banter. It would be, wouldn't it? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they don't win it? Honestly, the Conference League is easier than the League Cup. There isn't going to be a team in the Conference League as good as Man City, as Chelsea, as Liverpool, as Man United. I don't even think there's going to be a team as good in that as Leicester City. If Arsenal and or Spurs, or do you know what, any of the English teams who are part of the traditional Big Six, if they don't win it, it's terrible. We're going to be getting KJ on very, very soon to have his say. We are going to preview tomorrow's games. We're going to do it tomorrow, though. I just haven't had the time today. I decided to take a day off and spend the day with the kids, with the family, went and saw friends. It was really good. I ate a bit too much. I actually got to drive my new car properly today as well. It was very nice. Very, very nice indeed. So, yeah, nice little day. Nice little day. Just really quickly. Hey! 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 Sorry, I can't help myself. I love it. Great video. There we go. I don't know if KJ's ready to come on or not yet. He's cameraing on. That's why I'm not putting him in yet. When I see EOS website utility thing, when I see this little sign, I don't put him in. Because I don't think he's ready yet. When he's ready, I'll put man in. Or when he's ready, he can put himself in. To be fair, he's got the permissions and the access. So he can do that. He might not be in the room. He might not be able to hear me right as it stands right now. He might be off getting a drink or something. I don't know. I don't know the SP. Right. What's being said here? Yeah, KJ's here now. Oh, no, he's not. It's gone. He's gone again. I see his face come, and then it goes. I love it. A lot of people are angry about Rashford. What's his comment here from Rashford? Rashford sit on the possibility of leaving, playing in another country. I would never say no. I would never say no. Other than Man United, I'm a big fan of Real Madrid and Barca because they've had great players in the past. Yeah, I don't even think it's. Do you know what's interesting? I don't really get why people would be triggered by that. The reason why he's never going to say never is you never ever know as a football player. You never know as a football player what the future holds. So why would he say, I'm never going to play abroad? Man United might decide to sell him. Then he's got to go. Do you know what I mean? I always get really freaked out by stuff like that. Man like KJ's here with me now. What you saying, bro?
What a day of football I've been watching. I've watched the championship playoff with Brentford and Bournemouth. We love seeing Bournemouth getting denied Premier League access once again. We love to see it. Watch Dortmund and Leverkusen. Jadon Sancho's last game for Dortmund. It was a beautiful game to watch. You know what I'm saying? Bare emotions, bare stories. Piszczek leaving. The Bender brothers leaving. Even the ref. The ref was leaving too. The ref was retiring. Everyone is leaving left, right, and center in that game. You know what I'm saying? So that was enjoyable. Yeah. Watched a bit of Sunderland and Lincoln. You know what I'm saying? Good game. Championship playoffs, League One playoffs. Beautiful games to watch. And then I just watched Atletico Madrid go lift their Serie A title. Good day, man.
Atletico Madrid thing, what I love about it as a football fan is so many sub-stories. The Partey thing's hilarious. You've got Torreira there, the Trippier thing. There's loads of little subplots that have a bit of banter with your rival fans about. I also love the fact that a pragmatic defensive manager has won something where 2 years ago we were told by the hipsters that football was dead, buried, over, would never win again. And it's just, there's no one way of playing that's a steadfast rule. Even like Pep's way.
Did I say Serie A? I said La Liga. Cool. Sorry, you know what I meant though.
Yeah, exactly. Like we don't need to worry about that. We all know what you meant. Like even with Pep's style of football, Pep's style only works with the very best players available. Like Pep's style wouldn't be winning you what Pep wins if he had the lead squad. To get what I mean, he still win a lot of games, but it's like that's what I love about today. There's loads of little subplots, loads of little bit fun and stories and things like that, like to throw at people. Atletico win, and it always gives me hope that it always gives me hope. My club isn't the best in England right now, but it always gives you hope that maybe, just maybe, next season could be a year. Probably won't be, but it gives me a little bit of hope. I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, I'm up for it. And you know what? You never know. We beat Villarreal that looked very good for a lot. You said that Villarreal looked very, very good today against Real Madrid. Is that right?
Yeah, well, for the most part, yeah. In the first half, when they got their goal, they looked compact. They looked like switched on, defensively sound. Their counterattacks were working. They just, at the end of it, there's just the quality at the end weren't there. In the second half, though, it was all Real Madrid. And the first half, I was like, oh, man, like, if we concede against them, we're just going to show up shop. But Real Madrid also had many chances in that game. And as the wing by and now it finished 2-1 in the end. I was just like, we can do this. We can do this. Like, our squad is still better than theirs. You know what I mean? So when we get into our whole preview, we'll probably go into it more. But yeah, man, like, I'm happy they lost because I'm just like, yes, just more doubt in their minds, please. Just anything to help us win that game. I enjoy it. But yeah, man. Also, people talk about Rashi in his comments, yeah? Relax, man, relax. So you know what's funny about football fans, yeah? They're quick to abuse players. They're quick to say leave. They're quick to say, get out of my club. But as soon as someone asks a footballer a question that is so generic, like, would you ever play abroad? And a footballer goes, sure. You know what I mean? Like, why not? It's, he wants to leave. He's a disgrace. How dare he want to leave my football? I'm just like, oh. I saw people say 4 days before final. I was like,
But again, they're removing the contextual. If he was at a year left on his contract and was refusing to sign one, or he'd put in a transfer request, or his brother, who's his agent, had been out there touting him to clubs and doing a European tour, and then was saying that, I could get why they're outraged. But Rashford doesn't want to leave Manchester United. He's got no desire to leave Man. He's just simply stating, I'm never going to say never. David Beckham didn't want to leave, but he ended up going because the club wanted to move him on. It doesn't make any sense to me why people would be angry about that. Like contextually, even just his comments, the context of them, just like people. Do you know what it is? People just want to be negative for one reason or another. It's such a shame.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I cannot wait until player power takes a good place in football, bruv. Because these people who are screaming now are one of these players like player power is bad, it's negative. It's only negative if it's affecting the squad and the team. But if it's about the player's future and the person's career, I'm for player power. So get used to it, because all these long-ass contracts that everyone's going to be doing is going to die soon because clubs are greedy. They don't care about the player's career. They don't care about what the player's done for them. They only care about themselves. So why should the players care about the club? You know what I'm saying? Like in that sense, why should they care?
Of course, you're 110% right in relation to that. We as fans demand loyalty. And there's elements of loyalty and respect that I want to see from players, how you conduct yourself when you're in contract negotiations for a new deal, as an example. But the players shouldn't be made to have a higher level of, held to a higher standard in terms of loyalty than the clubs are held to. Because, Rashford could sign a new 6-year deal, but the club could sell him whenever they want to. Look at Kane right now. Some people, Kane signed the deal, he should stay. Well, what if he wants to stay, but Spurs want to cash in on him? Where's the outcry for loyalty? Where's the outcry? Where's the loyalty to Phil Jones, Why don't we let him see his contract out? Why don't we be loyal to that contract that he signed? Because you don't want him.
Martial, when the player goes through a bad bit of form, sell him, get rid of him. We don't want him here no more. But it's just like, but you're screaming to him. You should be grateful that you're here and you should not want to leave. But when we are ready for you to leave, that's when you can. For me, I'm just like, if a player wants to go, they want to go. If it's for the career, it's for the career. It is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, there are more footballers out there. You know what I'm saying? I love Rashi, but if he said one day, I want to leave, I'm not going to sit and be like, he's a disgrace for wanting to leave. I'll be like, oh, man, that's sad, man. But he's got to go do what's best for him, isn't it?
Yeah, the only time I think it's disgraceful, there is a timing element. There's how you do it. There is who you go and join. So if, for instance...
Tevez is a prime example.
Yeah, well, let's just say Pogba run his contract down to nothing and then join Man City or Liverpool on a free. I understand the outrage there. I get that's our biggest rivals and you've joined them. But that only should make you outraged if you loved Paul Pogba. All these idiots that don't like him, why would you be outraged by it? You don't like him. Like, for me, what you want him to go doesn't matter. You think he's toxic. So him joining a rival is a good thing, right? Because he's an average player who's inconsistent, who's toxic. He's going to damage them, isn't he? But he's not. He's great. You're bitter for other reasons. We don't need to go into them. Like, the only time I get annoyed about bad behaviors or lack of look is when it's people that I love and respect that do it. If someone, if it's a company or a business or a person that I don't like that does something wrong, there is this element of me is like, I'm glad that it's come out that done something wrong because it proves I'm right about it. I wanted everybody to be exposed. It's just crazy. But yeah, look, for me, listen, what Rashford, when I read Rashford's comment, I didn't even pay it any attention. I went, okay, cool. And then I'm seeing the outrage and I'm like, do you know what? The fake outrage is fake. It is purely and utterly fake. It really is.
But I said, talking about players and clubs being greedy, 90 million for Declan Rice, a DM. I am sorry. No, not in God's green earth. Not on this earth. Not on my watch. Should Declan Rice be gone for 90 million?
I could not agree with you more. He is nowhere. I just wanted to actually have a look here. I was on this website earlier today. I was on KPMG's website earlier today looking at player valuations. Didn't look at Declan Rice because KPMG, who are one of the leading consultancies in the world, I don't know, website always plays bloody music, have him valued at £54 million. So you've got to be a prick to spend almost double that on him. He isn't worth double that. If, for instance, he was, I don't know whether he's a good or an ugly looking, I think he's an average looking man, right? You can look at some dudes and be like, yeah, you can take like.
Anita has a crush on him, so like there's that. Yeah, she loves Declan Rice. I don't know why. It's just her, isn't it? Yeah, sorry, Anita, I've kind of outed you on air, but it's all right. We'll sort it out later.
You know what? If Anita likes Declan Rice, a lot more men have just perked up and have got a chance now of attracting the Queen. It's as simple as that, because that guy he's borderline butters, bro. He's borderline.
No. You see what it is? It's the trim. When he had that dead, like, fringe, low-cut thing, bro. But now that he's grown his hair out, he looks better. He looks better now. Like, I'm not saying he's amazingly handsome, but he looks better.
But the point I'm making is, if he was sort of stunning looking, looked a particular way or whatnot,
and his last name wasn't Rice,
you know, if Calvin Klein were going to pay him millions of pounds to wear the underwear, all the brands wanted him, then I would get paying above market price. But for me, if anyone drops more than 60 mil on him, they've been robbed. They've been absolutely robbed.
Yo, exact, 100%. And also, what does this mean for Jesse Lingard? Like, what do we do in response? Are we like, all right, cool, if you want to play that card, 40 million for Jesse Lingard, do we do that to be paid? Or do we just be like, you know what, I know you've been stupid, but just give us the money, like 30 million for Jesse Lingard, and we'll just keep it stepping. We'll just ignore Declan Rice and go get someone else. Like, what do Man United do in this situation?
We are going to try and sign Declan Rice, but it's about, even if we got 20 million off their asking price for 25 million, you're still looking at 65, which is too high. It's unaffordable for us. Do you know what I mean? And I think that I actually get a feeling that we're only going to bring in Declan Rice if we sell Pogba or Donny van der Beek. It would take Jesse Lingard to be sold or exchanged, plus the proceeds from a sale of, I still think for Donny you can pick up 40, 50 million. What do you pay for him? I think it was like 50 odd. Like, you can still pick up.
We played 34, I think, or 35.
34. You can still pick up 30 million for him because everyone knows how good he is still. Pogba, you're going to raise quite a bit of money for. If you say you sold Donny or Pogba and you had sort of 30, 40 million pound remaining from that transaction, 25 million for Lingard, you could then go and do a 50, 60 million pound bid for Declan Rice. But
even that though, that's not worth it. Losing Donny van der Beek and Lingard for Declan Rice, I don't think that's even worth doing. Like, if it was just Declan Rice and Jesse Lingard, like a swap or like exchanging, that one goes in, one goes out, then I get that. But Donny as well, that makes no sense. I feel like Donny's got another season left in him to try and show something, you know what I mean? And show that he's got the quality, because we know he has. It's just about adapting. But yeah, 90 million, that is just...
Mate,
and this is the thing, Declan Rice, I don't know how long his contract is, but if they offer him a new one and it's like a 5-year deal, don't sign it, bruv. Don't, because you'll be stuck there. You'll be out there looking like Zaha, crying, bruv. Do you see him on Sky Sports saying, listen, I'm still a quality player, I still want to win, I still think top teams can come and get me, bruv? Man screaming, someone get me out, bruv. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and people have always been put off by the price. There's a few people saying Donny ain't worth nowhere near 30 mil. His current valuation with leading with the people that set the price is 32 million pounds. So he still holds great value. He's still a very, very good player. There's no doubt about it. Gal's going to be joining us really, really soon as well to have his say today. I don't know. There must maybe he's coming to speak about the Partey situation. How do you think Partey feels right now?
He's probably like, what the hell did I just join? No, he's probably he's questioning like what he left for. Like, obviously, he couldn't foresee Atletico going and winning the league. I'm not gonna say, oh, it was so obvious that he was gonna do it. Why would he leave? Like, I kind of get it, but I don't know what he expected to come into. Did he expect to be the thing that elevated Arsenal to Champions League, to potentially elevate them to the same level as Atleti? Because at the time they weren't close to winning the league, or I don't remember them being close to winning the league last year. So it's one of those ones where it's like he's probably looking at it, it's like, what exactly did I join, and why the hell has it just gone wrong? And I'm looking at my brethrens, you know what I mean, winning the league and that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
last season. Well, last season they come third, but they finished 17 points behind Real Madrid.
You see, it's like,
and is this also the longest run, 2 seasons running, that Barca haven't won the league in Messi's time?
Potentially, I think it's the first time they've finished out the top 2 since Messi's been there for the first time. I think this third, and then it's been a while since they've won the league without Messi. Man, it's very mad. But yeah, it's looking very peak right now for Real Madrid and in Barcelona with the whole financial situation as well. They've got better players out on loan. Who wants to buy them? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they've got financial troubles. The Super League flopped. Like, Real Madrid, Barcelona, they're in trouble. And you know what's funny? Yeah, you know what's funny? I bet, Terry, you will not see one. The only reason why Atletico won the league is because Real Madrid and Barcelona fell off.
Well, listen, but that's
you won't see that, will you?
Well, but do you know what? When you break it down, that's true, but it's true in every direction. So the only reason that Man United stopped winning league titles after Fergie is because we fell off. If we carried on in that level and got better, then nobody else would have ever won the league by that logic. That's the way it always is. You know, someone always... otherwise, Muhammad Ali would still be world champion, wouldn't he? Well, he's passed away now, but you get my point. Mike Tyson would still be heavyweight champion of the world. At some point, you fall off. So
it's a nonsensical argument.
That means other than the first ever Premier League champions, everybody else is a charlatan because, well, if the team the year before hadn't have fallen off or were better, it wouldn't have. It's stupid logic.
It's just a dumb argument.
It just is. And of course, City have gone to another level by at times by winning more points. But it's contextual. How good are all the other teams at that moment in time? You know, would they? I don't know. I don't know the answer.
My big thing is this:
can't have those conversations. They're impossible. They're unknowns.
It's stupid because if you didn't capitalize on a team falling off, you'll be upset. Like, we're so bad when they're bad, we can't even beat them. Now that you do that, it's only because they fell off. It makes no sense. It's not like it's Manchester United or Atletico's or whoever's fault that a team drops off. It's got nothing to do with them. You can only do what you can do in the league.
It's like saying, I did treble was shit, man. Oh, why was it crap? Bruv. If Juve and Arsenal hadn't have collapsed in the semi-finals after being in winning or stronger positions due to men being sent off, we would have been out. If we hadn't have scored 2 last-minute goals, we wouldn't have won the Champions League, right? If you know, Arsenal hadn't dropped off from their double-winning season the year before, we wouldn't have won it. If that's your logic, that means you never can celebrate anything you win. It's fucking stupid. I don't know how many Man United fans or how many football fans actually think like that. I think it's a minority. And I get by the way, if you're bantering rivals, then say it. But when you're talking about your own team, you could literally undo every single team's success ever by looking at last-minute winners, or when a team has, you know, a team might have been 2-0 up in the semi-final and then you score 3 late goals to knock them out. That doesn't count as a win anymore because they threw it away. They dropped off. So it isn't on. It's just fucking, it's stupidity and fake outrage. That's what it comes down to. YUF says, time big clubs stopped this nonsense of overpaying for players. Like, I don't care how good a player is. Kante and Rice, 150 and 90 million is ridiculous. And I hear you on that, but the only way it stops is if teams stop paying for it. You know, we've said this before about everyone has power in this world. If Apple launched their new phone and the cheapest contract you can get it on is £100 or $120 a month, and nobody buys it, they'll lower the price. Problem is, people buy it, and you can't. In the world we live in, if people are prepared to pay it, I blame the buyers. I don't blame the vendors, especially when it's a non-essential product. Like, it isn't like it's water or oxygen or bread. You're talking about, like, you don't need the new iPhone. You don't need Declan Rice. You don't need Harry Kane per se. But if you're willing to pay for it,
and also there's that teams aren't paying it, and also players need to start taking action against it. Like, if those two things coincided, prices will go down, because clubs will know that no one's going to pay overinflated prices anyway, and our player will strike, will revolt, will end up lowering the price of himself as an asset anyway. You sell them for the price that they're worth. Maybe if you get a little bit over, then cool. No one's saying, oh, if someone bought Rice for like what 50 million, no one's complaining. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, okay, fair enough. West Ham got their piece, United or Chelsea or whoever it is, if you got their player, cool. But when you're saying 90 million, what? No, man, no, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, man. Foolishness.
No, I completely and utterly agree. Do you know, sometimes I go to the hidden users, and sometimes we block certain people, and I'm like, some of these are my best contributors, and have been blocked by.
It always makes you laugh when I see free so and so. I'm just like, oh, what have the mods done now? You know what I mean?
It's like I said before, unless they've said something racist or sexist or homophobic, you leave them alone. Leave them alone. Otherwise, I'm going to have to remove mods again on this. We're going to get Igal in with us now, ladies and gentlemen. Come and have his say. I know he's been waiting very, very diligently for us backstage. I'll get him on in a few moments' time. There he is. He's with us. He's with us now. How you doing, mate?
I'm chilling, man. How's everybody?
Yeah, all good, brother. All good.
I want to talk about this Declan Rice thing. There is no way that, first of all, there's no way Declan Rice is going to cost Chelsea more than Lukaku, in my opinion. If they're going to buy him, he's going to have to go for less than the 60 million that they're being touted for Lukaku. Also, if he does go for 50, 60 million, that makes more sense. But 90 million, I don't think either Manchester United or Chelsea are going to go for him, just like you guys have already said. So I'm not going to echo everything that you guys have already said. You've gone over this numerous times. Let's look at it from a different perspective. Where does he play? If he comes into that team, is he automatically going straight into midfield? Are they going to play with the back three again next year, and he's going to be the middle of the back three? That's also another question you have to ask yourself, because if they have all these midfield options with Gilmore coming through, Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante, they already have so many options. Surely, in order to sanction this kind of move, you need to get some people off your books, because you can't put yourself in another situation financially, having all these players on starter wages, but all on the bench.
Yeah, no, it's true. The Chelsea, and that's why the whole Jadon Sancho thing makes no sense to me, because it's kind of like you've got like 4 or 5 wingers or players who play out in wide creative positions. You can't just add Jadon Sancho to it and everything be hunky dory. Chelsea squad is what I've noticed about Chelsea squad is they've got a lot of good players. There's no real, besides like Kante, I would say, there's no real standout of world class. You know what I mean? They've got a lot of good to high quality players, but because they've got so many, they need to trim that down to add a world class player. The only other position where you can just literally just add someone straight in is Harry Kane or Haaland or Lukaku in the striker position, because I haven't got anything there. You know what I'm saying? But the wing positions, the centre midfield, even the centre backs, they've got a lot of trimming down to do, because they've got bare man on loan as well. So
I think I think there's one case that can be made. Send Callum Hudson-Odoi on loan the other way, because if you do that, then you have somebody who can develop within the Premier League. Callum Hudson-Odoi is not going to get enough game time at Chelsea to continue his progression. At West Ham, he can come in and he can do a job for them. And Chelsea fans, you're not selling the player. I'm not saying send him the other way and sell him. I'm saying send him the other way on loan in a way to lower the fee for Declan Rice. So they have a body in another area that they need help in. And that would help West Ham. That would help you guys in the long run, because Callum Hudson-Odoi will develop. And that's another cog you might need to look at, because we're always talking about Tammy Abraham, these other moves. But guess what? If you have a guy in Callum Hudson-Odoi who's this great talent that you guys always talk about, He needs game time. And if he goes to West Ham, he's going to get that game time. He's going to develop, and Chelsea might become a better club from that move.
Whoa. So wait, okay, I just classed what you said. I thought you were talking about Hudson-Odoi to Dortmund. You're talking about Hudson-Odoi to West Ham?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Because you need to use all your avenues as a club, right? You need to use all your avenues. And I see you guys making shots at Partey. Listen, we all know Thomas Partey is a much better player than Declan Rice. It's just Declan Rice is in the English game, and he's been playing for West Ham, and he's been doing well. If Thomas Partey was at any other club this season, he probably would be doing much better than he's been doing at Arsenal. We know the mess we're in, so stop making fun of Thomas.
No. Listen. You have to accept that he's going to get banned. So he left Atletico, joined Arsenal. Arsenal had a poor season, which we all know. But the team he left and goes on to win the league, it's funny because of the pain and that element. Like I said earlier, if I leave my woman for another one, that new relationship doesn't work out, and then she wins the lottery, and I don't get in that much. Like, it's double bubble gutting, bro. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Kieran Tierney, I'm not Kieran Tierney. Basically, Trippier left, Tottenham won over there. Luke, what's his name? Torreira is on loan there, so Torreira is coming back a champion.
But you're missing.
Yeah, but we're laughing at them too, though.
And we've bantered them as well. But or Spurs as well. But the difference is when Trippier signed for, there wasn't like there wasn't a music video made by Tottenham when Trippier left because he was rubbish. That's what makes it funny. It's the size of the signing. And listen, I know we spoke the other day, and I took your feedback on board that, maybe sometimes there's a little bit too much banter towards Arsenal on the channel. But there are times where if you can't take it, get out the kitchen. And what I mean by that, we saw Sunday yesterday, where all I made is a very simple point, that on social media, Mbappe is bigger than Liverpool. And he's like, no, but Nike is basically Liverpool, and Nike have got more followers than everyone. And we just went and looked. Out of their last 100 posts on Instagram, only 2 have featured anything to do with Liverpool. The majority of it isn't even football. So I'm like, what the... Anyways, yeah, he said off air, I'm sorry to out you, Sonny. He said, yeah, Terry, but what about all the people that don't use social media? How can you say he's bigger? If they don't use social media, they're not part of the equation. It was like...
You know what it is? I remember, listen, I watched that back and my brain was
I take offense to that, Terry. You can't tell me to get out the kitchen when I'm the one guy always here, never hide.
I'm not talking about you. I'm not being specific to you, my brother. Sorry, you were going to say something, KJ.
Yeah, I said the whole thing was funny. My brain was fried. It's kind of like what he was doing is equating social media, being big on social media, to being the bigger than whatever, you know what I mean? As in like bigger club. That's what he was equating it to. No one was saying Mbappe is bigger than Liverpool Football Club. No one said that. We just said on social media, he's bigger. Cristiano Ronaldo is bigger than most football, like nearly every football club in the world on social media. So is Lionel Messi. Like, and that's all he is. Like, it's okay, man. It's like, Sonny, I love you, man. It's okay. Not every day he's trying to have a go at Liverpool, okay? He's just stating a fact. You know what I'm saying?
Getting back to the Declan Rice thing, though. Couldn't he force a move? Because he keeps constantly talking about his connection to Chelsea. He grew up in Chelsea. He was in the academy. He said Mason Mount's his best friend and his favorite player in the league, and he'd love to play with him. Couldn't he just force the move?
Yes, of course he can. And this is something that can happen. And Chelsea or Man United, if they're interested in him, want this to happen. Harry Kane has done half the job so far by declaring he wants to leave. All players can force moves. There are other areas where you can start being a cow son. You can start going on strike. You start behaving unprofessionally for them to get rid of you. Like when you were a kid and you got grounded, but you're like, right, I'm going to be naughty inside, so my parents stop me from being grounded and just send me out. There's an element, it's that logic. It's, you know what, I'm going to become a pain in the arse for this football club and they're going to want me out. A lot of fans don't like that because we feel players shouldn't do it. But at the same time, it's like, well, the club shouldn't put themselves in that position. If Harry Kane, Declan Rice are not happy, let them go. Get the money, reinvest. Why would you want a player at your club that truly doesn't want to be there? You're never going to get the same level of performances out of them, especially once they've declared. Like Wayne Rooney got convinced twice to stay and was never as good. Because I think the first time he was going to go and they changed his mind, I almost get this feeling, and you'd have to ask Wayne to confirm, I feel like part of his affinity and a connection with the club went. And Rooney was a passion player. He was brilliant ability, but it was fed through his passion and desire. And I think once that relationship broke, he was never quite the same Wayne Rooney ever again for Manchester United when you look back with hindsight. So with what Harry Kane's doing, it's like, can he return and really give his all when he's declared the fact that, I know he hasn't used these words and I'm putting words in his mouth here, but he's basically said, I'm wasting my career here. Like how, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think social media, the way social media is now and the amount of abuse people can freely receive really quickly has stopped players doing the whole force and a move thing. It's very rare that you get that. Most players are like, oh, I'm going to respect the club, I'm going to respect the fans, I'm just going to do respectfully. I think a part of it is out of, they know when they open up their inboxes, their DMs, they will get horrendous amounts of abuse. And you shouldn't stop your career because someone's going to say something negative about you. You know what I mean? The issue is that there's so many people saying that these players feel like they have to be insular, that they have to actually stop being themselves. There's this massive argument on Twitter about basketball versus football, and which is the better sport, which is the better product, blah, 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 blah. And one of the main arguments for why basketball is better is that players can have personalities, players can be themselves, players can make moves and make trades that benefits them over the franchise. And that part of it, I agree with. We've got so many media-trained players that aren't themselves, that have to wait until the cameras are off sometimes to be themselves, that they can't, like, it's boring, you know what I mean? They can't get the moves that they want, so we never get to fully see what kind of player they could be. Because imagine if a player gets the move that he wants, and instead of being somewhere that he don't want to be, he's where he wants to be, what kind of player would we get? Would he elevate them? Would he make them better? Because when you're in the environment that you want to be in, you push yourself more. You play better, generally. You know what I mean? On the most part.
No, but imagine if in football you could have people come together and collude to make super teams. Like they go on international duty and they say to themselves, you know what? All our contracts are up at the same time. We're going to run our contracts down and all join Manchester United the same year.
Yeah, but
teams can't do that. Teams can't do that in football.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, that all comes down to the team's finances, though, Igal. Because there aren't salary caps, it's harder to plan for those things. Because say if Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar all came together and said, yeah, let's collude and join a one football team, literally, because of their wages are so high, that football team could not afford it even if they wanted to. Because there is no cap. Yeah, so you can't plan for it.
And on top of that, there's a revenue. I don't know what the wording for it is. I know this operates in baseball. I'm not sure if it operates in basketball or the NFL or the NHL. But essentially, I was listening to this guy talk when all the Super League stuff was happening. He was talking about the differences between the American sports and the English sports. He kind of echoed what you said, Gal, that actually the element of not being relegated was about the only similarity between the Super League and the sort of the American sports. And he was saying how, we all know this, the New York Yankees baseball caps are probably the most famous baseball cap symbol in the world, right? Everyone around the world knows. I think you could go to remote parts of the world and they would recognize that logo. So the Yankees, of course, sell, I would hazard a guess at hundreds of millions of those hats a year. But do you know that the money generated from that is spread equally across all baseball teams in America, major league baseball teams in America? So the idea of creating a super team in a short term would still be acceptable to certain clubs if England was like that. One, there'd be a salary cap, so you could only have a certain amount of those players in a said team anyway. But also, if Man United became the super team and we sold 100 million more shirts than anybody else and all the revenues came in higher and we were winning things, that would only last for a small period of time. But what would then happen is, because we're winning all these things in the American sport, all that money would be spread out, all the money we're generating would be spread across everybody else. So all the other franchises get richer anyway, but we wouldn't have great picks in the drafts, would we? So all the next stars coming through would go to the teams not winning. Now, Premier League teams would be more accepting of those types of things if you're a West Ham and you're down in the bottom and you see these, these 2 or 3 super teams. What you know, if we were run like the NBA or the NHL is, do you know what? We're going to get the best new talent coming through. The Camavingas of this world, the Mbappes, the Haalands. We get first pick of those players, so we'll come along in 5 years' time. Everyone will be more accepting. So I think you're not going to get it for a multitude of reasons, and I wouldn't want to either get it in that way. But I think players are going to start signing shorter contracts. We already know financially they can make money elsewhere. I think you may see I think the colluding, like you've mentioned, happens. There's no way that Rashford hasn't had a conversation with Jadon Sancho about joining Manchester United. I think you would be stupid to sit there and think that they've never had a phone call, haven't exchanged some texts and things. Of course they have. By the way, don't be surprised if Saka's away on international duty all summer. There's going to be Chelsea boys and Man United boys and Liverpool boys in his ear trying to convince him to leave. That's natural. These things already happen, I think, anyway.
What about the water break? That's one thing that was similar to like having having 4 quarters in football, because that water break was almost like a break, a small break. Do you think that would ever return and actually become like a staple in the game where you actually have a break in between both halves?
No, because that only happened because we was playing in the summer and it was that hot, and for health and safety they did war breaks. But because we mainly play in the winter anyway, you don't need war breaks during the winter. Yeah. And plus, when players are down injured or something's taking a bit while like VAR, players go get a drink anyway. So there's no need to fit a actual thing in there.
Yeah, no, you're right. I wouldn't want to. I don't want football to change too much more than it already has. I think as well the 5 subs thing. I don't like the idea of 5 subs once the league go back to normal, because it is unfair on the smaller teams that have thinner squads. There were times where, back end of last season, there were times where the likes of Man United and Chelsea and City were almost bringing on literally half a brand new outfield team for the last 30 minutes of games, where the other teams don't have that depth. So it almost becomes, it's always unfair because we live in the league is unfair in the sense of the richer and more better run you are, the better your squad is. But everyone knows that at the beginning of the season, everybody understands how that is. You start putting more and more rules in that favor the big teams. Now, the one rule I wouldn't mind seeing come in, though, is but it would have to be across all leagues. You couldn't just do it to the Prem. Is a higher percentage of homegrown players in every match day squad, let alone like the 23-man squad. I'm talking in the match day squad. I would like to see higher numbers, 6 or 7.
Never going to happen. Wolves will get relegated.
No, but I know that's not going to happen. My point is, I'd love to see that be a case, and they say, listen, we're going to bring it in 5 years' time to get yourselves prepared and ready. And that's what I'd love to then see, because you still develop great youngsters. It would be a lot more time and attention spent on developing your academy. But I'd love to see a rule like that come in, because I think it'd be great for the development of young players, not just English young. Look at some of the great international players that are now coming through our academies as well. When Paul Pogba being the standout example, there are some. Many outside a lot of Dutch and Spanish players in the last few years as well. But I'd love to see a rule like that come in.
Just to stay on your point on rules or changes that could happen. I know I've spoken about this before, and my boy Shocks has spoken about this numerous times. I know this sounds crazy, Terry, but find a way to have as minimal human decision making on the pitch as possible. So get rid of referees as much as you can. So try to make the rules, redo the rules so they're more black and white.
No, you can't.
Igal, do you agree with the way VAR uses for offside?
No, because there's still subjective decisions.
No, but it can't be, because they're using a computer to create the offside lines, and therefore that is a black and white decision that's been decided.
Sorry,
so you're asking for that all across the board.
Gal, but you can't. There's too many laws in the game to change. You couldn't make it non-subjective. It has to be subjective.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
As in, like, how would a computer know what's a hard, like a soft tackle or a hard tackle or a soft pen or a hard pen or a dive?
Take it away from take it away from that. How does it know if it's hand to ball or ball to hand?
Based on the rules right now, it's anything above where your shirt meets your arm.
No, is your arm in an unnatural position? What is the distance between you and the player that's shot? Is it deflected before hitting you? There's all these nuances.
Okay, I got to answer to this. have 3 challenge flags and VAR completely gone. So that it's up to the coach when he wants to use those challenges. So you can use it for goal scoring decisions. You could use it for goals conceded, but you only have 3 challenges. That's what VAR. The referee is completely eliminated from the game. And for major decisions that are going on, that are black and white, that are already like in the rule book, you can have one individual there to monitor the situation. And when you talk about breaking up fights, these guys don't break up fights anyway, so we don't need them for breaking up fights.
But nothing would change. And what I mean by that is the subjective decisions have to stay, because you couldn't change all the rules of football. The game of football wouldn't work without subjectivity. It just wouldn't. And say you had the 3 challenges, you could still get scenarios, Igal, where Arteta puts a challenge in. The referee's decision is now null and void. It's going to go down to a separate person using computer screens. They might still agree with the referee. So I think you're looking at these rules as the way of stopping yourselves from feeling cheated.
Okay,
remember, if the 1 second, bro, if the FA is corrupt against you, they'll find a way of being corrupt against you. It doesn't matter what the system is, does it? I want to move forward from this. Sorry, mate. Terry wants Brexit football. I really didn't. I didn't mention anything to do with wanting English players to be developed. I spoke about the fact that our academies now are full of wonderfully talented players from across the globe, let alone just being English. And then somebody else says that's what killed Serie A. Like I said, the only way it works is if every league is doing it. I wouldn't want the Prem to do it if no other leagues were, because you're right, it would make us weaker. But if everyone was doing it, it would level the playing field. Football in the longer term wouldn't be damaged by it. That's my point. Okay, what do people not listen? I don't know. Some people make my head hurt. There we go. Listen, everyone who's tuned into us this evening, thank you very, very much indeed. I really appreciate it. Do me a big, big favor and hit that like button. Please share the stream across all your social media platforms as well. But until next time, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again